version.
Awesome.
I was modeling in Japan and went on this audition. They
I
don't
love how you say that so nonchalantly, by the way. Like that's a normal thing for
being fabulous.
All right, welcome to Rated NA, the podcast for the website nerdappropriate.com. This is episode number 190, and I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Scott.
And I'm Ash.
Hey.
We got a special episode today.
Yeah. Julia Voth is back for round 2. One of our guests from 2 years ago. You guys will know her as the likeness of Jill Valentine in the Resident Evil series. And, of course, she started in Bitch Slap, and now she's in Package Deal. And she's all over the place. She's blown up. And she was nice enough to come back and talk to us. And she's awesome.
She's now a game streamer as well, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. She she actually was streaming the Resident Evil remake as Jill Valentine with the Jill Valentine beret on for an audience, and it was like one of the most surreal meta things I'd ever watched in my life. So if you ever want to see Jill Valentine playing Resident Evil as Jill Valentine, she's going to be streaming some more too.
Inception.
It was, which for me is like, you know, I think Jill Valentine was like one of my biggest video game crushes. Mm-hmm. And I kind of told her in the episode, I'm like, when I found out that you're a real person, I kind of lost my shit. Because
Sweet.
Yeah, because imagine, like, Scott, if you found out, like, Link was a real person, what would you do?
Why did you go there, of all places? You could have made, like, a cornier joke. You could have been like, when you found out that Baby Spice was a real person. There's so many other places you could go with that joke, and you chose Link.
I'm still talking about your amiibos from the other day.
Oh, we could go with, whatever. We don't need to go down this path. This is a dark path.
Oh. All right, this week's show is brought to you by Loot Crate, and Loot Crate is a subscription service that brings a box full of fun to your doorstep every single month. And this month's crate is Play, and it's all about tabletop games, RPGs, and old-fashioned good fun stuff. This month we actually get an exclusive toy from Kid Robot, as well as a whole bunch of other, fun exclusive items. Mm-hmm. And if you go to lootcrate.com/ratedNA and use the code word ratedNA, you're going to get a subscription at 10% off, and you're going to get a box of fun delivered to your doorstep every single month. And it's a great way to help out our show, and it's a nice gesture for yourself and for us. So
helps us keep the lights on.
Yes, the lights
sure
on.
Does.
Do that.
Sweet.
All right, cool. Well, how about we go ahead and head over into our Julia Voth interview?
Awesome. Enjoy the interview, guys. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I didn't know if that was everybody, like the listeners, or everybody like us.
Actual
Keep
intro.
talking. I was like, oh, is it my turn to say hi?
So we're here with Julia Voth. She's back on the show, and I looked back into the archives, and last time Julia was here was actually episode 97, and it is now episode 190, and she was on back in March of 2013. And I guess the first question, Julia, is what have you been up to for about 2 years?
I know. I was thinking, like, what have I been doing? Well, I have a couple projects that I've been doing. One, Package Deal, my multicam sitcom that I shoot up in Canada.
Awesome.
And I'm actually flying up to Toronto next weekend to attend an award ceremony that I am up for an award for.
I saw that. I can't wait to talk.
Yeah, the Canadian Screen Awards. So I'm nominated for Best Leading Actress in a Comedy Series.
That is awesome. So what is, really quickly, what is the United States equivalent of that award or that show? Because I'm not familiar with that show.
It's kind of like a Golden Globe.
That is awesome, then. Congratulations. Yeah. That is really, really cool.
I actually, I felt really bad because I live in LA and I work mainly here. I only shoot that show up in Canada. That's really the only work that I do. I got nominated. I'm like, that's cool. And everyone's like, no, it's really cool. Why aren't you more excited? I'm like, no, I'm super excited. I just, like, should I be more excited? They're like, yes. okay, sorry.
That's awesome. Well, for our listeners that don't know much about Package Deal, can you kind of give a brief rundown of what the show's about? I think when you were here last, which was in 2013, you were just, I think, starting that show. So
that sounds about right. Yeah, I think I probably either like just booked it or we were like, prepping for season one.
I think you mentioned it briefly. That was it.
Yeah. Well, so it's like I said, it's a multicam sitcom, and we shoot in front of a live audience, and it's kind of like I would sort of think it's like a Friends or Big Bang Theory to sort of like compare it to a show that a lot of people know.
Okay.
And it's about three dysfunctional brothers who have a very close, intimate relationship, and the girl Moi, who comes between them and sort of takes one of the brothers' time and starts causing shenanigans within the dynamic of the brothers. So it's sort of like, it's called Package Deal because basically my character kind of has to date all of them in order to really date the man that she loves.
That's so very true in family situations like that, because Matt and I are brothers-in-law. We married sisters. And so it's kind of like when we all hang out together, it's kind of like there is this whole package deal sort of situation. Like I have to essentially put up with like sister-in-law and and brother-in-law. Yeah. So it's very very familiar to us. So
it's really funny, and I think a lot of people, I think it's doing so well because anytime you make a show or you make fun of or fun with family dynamics and brothers and sisters and parents, most people have all of those things, and and they all annoy us. Most of the time. So there's a lot of relatability in the show.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually did just see for a really long time it wasn't available streaming here in the United States because of some blocker they had up. But you can actually go to City TV now, and I was able to watch some episodes. So you can stream them now. So if you listeners are curious a little bit about Package Deal, just Google it and you can find it and watch some stuff because it's actually super funny. I do have to ask you quickly about. You do multicam, so you guys, are you in front of a live audience?
Yeah.
Is that terrifying or what?
Oh my God. Season 1, episode 1, I almost crap my pants. I don't know. I was like, no, I was terrified. So we shoot in front of 150 people every Friday night. And of course it's like a free show. Everyone gets pizza and it's really, really fun. But it's my favorite part of the process now. But like I said, the very first time I had to do it, I was like, they're going to replace me because I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like I can't imagine the stress of that.
It's basically like doing a new theater show every week, except you get a couple tries to do the scene, but you start at the beginning and then you go completely through. So if you like miss a beat at the end, they might pick it up if they're running out of time, but they'll just make you do the whole scene again.
Oh wow.
Which is fun because, of course, I love acting. I love what I do. But at the same time, it's just like, if you have lots and lots of lines to remember and you finally got them right, you're like, now I have to do that again. Oh, I'm going to die.
Well, that's a really good segue. I wanted to ask you, since it is live in front of a massive group of people, how do you actually go about memorizing that much dialogue? Because I know, like, I'm okay with standing in front of people and talking because I did it for a really long time, but memorizing very specific dialogue, like, how do you do that? Like, is it just something you were kind of gifted with, or did you have to really?
I definitely got better as the show went on, and as I did going into season 2. Like your brain you just train your brain to, like, it's like you have to learn it. So your brain's like, okay, whatever's holding you back, you have to sort of put aside, and you just really have to focus. And if you have to spend a couple extra hours a night or an extra hour a night just, drilling your lines, and that's what you got to do. But I found that, even though there's a lot of dialogue, the writing is done really, really well. And so the writers are really good at, like, taking our characters and sort of merging them with our own personalities and our own strengths and our weaknesses. So when I got a script, it felt very natural to what my character would say. So if you sort of understand the story and the arc of the whole episode, even if you don't exactly know what the line is, it's, like I said, it's a very natural way of speaking. So it was sort of like it comes natural, even if you don't know it like word for word, which is, I think, a testament to, like, how good the writers are and how good the stories are, because it does seem like a natural progression throughout the episode. But they also have this thing where if a joke isn't working, they'll rewrite it on the spot and give you completely new dialogue, and then you have to say it.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Very typical. Yeah, it's very typical for a multicam sitcom for it to work that way. So, you also have to just be able to like learn your lines and then throw them away and say something new instead. So you want to know them well enough that you can like get them from your brain, but also you don't want to be too married to them, or else won't forget you won't be able to like say the new lines, for example.
That's really super interesting.
Is there any room for improvisation? Does that ever come up just in the natural course of taping the show and trying to find the dialogue that works for the audience?
It does. We usually, for the first couple takes until we get the lines down, we usually don't do too much improv, just out of respect for the writers and everything. Of course, yeah. But once we got it, it's definitely encouraged to play and ad-lib something, improv something. Harlan Williams is the king of doing that.
Yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking of in particular, of somebody that might kind of go off the rails a little bit from time to time.
I don't know. Like, I always have this thing that and I see it on the show, like I can like see it in my face, like when he's about to say something, and I'm like, I kind of pretend I'm mad. I look down, I kind of scowl, and I shake my head. It's only because I'm gonna laugh so hard, and I just have to hide it, and it's so hard to laugh.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on your nomination with the Canadian Screen Awards. That's super amazing. And when's that? That's like next week, isn't it? That you fly out there and
yeah, I fly out on the 24th, and then it's basically 5 days of different press things and meeting fans. And on the 28th, there's a fan zone sort of like event where a bunch of us will be sort of like sitting around, and fans can come and meet us and take pictures and get autographs and stuff like that. So if anybody is going to be in Toronto on the 28th, you can just go online and find all the information and
very cool.
Come by and say hi. And we got a couple other fun things, and then there's the big gala on the 1st, and then I come back to LA.
Well, good luck. That's going to be super fun.
Thank you.
If our Canadian listeners want to do that, go do that. That sounds like something I would love to do. So, let's talk a little bit about Resident Evil, because Capcom just re-released Resident Evil.
Yeah.
The re-release of Resident Evil. And for our listeners that haven't been listening for 2 years, your story about becoming Jill Valentine is like one of my favorites. We've had lots and lots of people on, but I really, really enjoyed your story about how you were discovered. Can you give like the quick version of that story, or I could tell?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll give the quick version. Awesome. I was modeling in Japan, and went on this audition. They don't.
I love how you say that so nonchalantly, by the way. Like that's a normal thing for
being fabulous. And so, like, they don't really, like, give you too much information about what you're auditioning for. They're like, oh, video game. I'm like, okay. So I showed up, put my portfolio, and walked into this room. There was, like, probably 15 or 20 maybe. Maybe as the story gets older, there's more and more people in this boardroom. But in my imagination now, there's, like, at least 15 or 20, like, Japanese guys in business suits just sitting around. And they look at my portfolio, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I left. A couple days later, my manager calls me into the office, and he was like, Julia, you have a big job. Do you know Resident Evil? Like, I don't really play video games, so no, I actually don't know Resident Evil, but fill me in. So he told me about it, and super excited to do something like that. I've never done anything like that before, and they basically just scanned my face and hands and toes and ears and tongue and eyeballs into a computer.
Wow.
And then took pictures of me, and that was it.
Wow.
I didn't know toe capture was such a integral part of the gaming experience.
Yeah.
It's important.
Everyone's like, wow, they really captured you. I'm like, yeah, I didn't do any of the acting. They recreated everything, which I've said this before, but I just think it's just such a testament to the technology and like how for the time advanced it was.
Oh,
because I wasn't moving around and I wasn't using the facial expressions. All of that was created. Like they would take scanning me like, look like you're scared, and I'd like make a scared face, and then they're like, hold it, and then they'd scan my scared face into the computer.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's literally what it was.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And just looking at the newest version, the Resident Evil remake, the graphics have obviously been slightly enhanced, but they're still using essentially those old models. They're just using new shaders and stuff like that, and it still looks absolutely gorgeous. Was it cool to realize that they were going to re-release the game and still use your likeness? Like, when did you find out about that?
I actually found out about it when it was announced to the public. I had no idea that it was happening.
Oh, okay.
I that's the thing. Like, when you're an actor and stuff, you always seem to be the last person to find out about everything, but that's okay. I wasn't really shocked because I've always known that game was really special. And I know that just from my experiences of, acting more and getting sort of like a higher profile, I guess, like fans come to me and they tell me how fans they are of Resident Evil, etc. So it didn't surprise me that, the game is still that successful that they wanted to put it out there and make it better.
Do folks recognize you as Jill when you go out every once in a while? Do people freak out?
Honestly, I think a lot of people don't know it was based on a real person. Sometimes I get weird looks and I think they might recognize me from something. But as soon as I've had people kind of freak out on me once they found out, it's come up in a conversation or maybe I've mentioned something and they're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. What?
All right, I have to tell you a story that is super fucking embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Perfect.
Why not?
Do it.
So I had no idea that Jill was you, was a real person, and I absolutely love the Resident Evil games, and I think it was right before Bitch Slap came out, which huge fan of Bitch Slap, by the way. I'm still pining for Bitch Slap too. But
me too.
Oh my god. But then I saw that you were Jill Valentine, and literally what you just described, I was like, whoa, wait a second, that's a real person. And from that moment forward, I'm like, all right, I have to find out who this person is. I have to kind of stalk Julia Voth and find out who Julia Voth is
in a very non-creepy sort of way.
Yeah, in the nicest way possible.
In the least creepy way possible.
The least creepy stalking possible. But I definitely had that moment as a fan of the series where I was unaware, because there wasn't a lot of that facial scanning going on at the time in gaming. So Capcom was one of the first companies to really do that and do it well. And then when I saw pictures of you as a real human being, and then I saw pictures of the model for Jill Valentine, I was like, holy cow, they did a spectacular job of actually capturing your likeness. So
yeah, they did a really good job, and I'm just always because that came out so long ago. I'm like, thank God I haven't changed very much.
Yeah,
if I I don't know, got really old or something, looking at it, just it wouldn't look like me anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that I'm so glad I took care of my skin all these years.
But that could have been really bad.
People still revisit the game.
No one would have believed me. I would have felt so awful about myself. I'm oh no.
It's interesting. The games don't really go away. People, still revisit the games over time, so it's always going to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome. It's been a wonderful thing to have happen to me, so
that's cool. I did want to just drop this. I saw this quote just a couple days ago. I don't know if Julie had seen this yet, but Capcom sent out a press release that said that the re-release, this is so hard to say, by the way, the re-release of Resident Evil is Capcom's fastest selling digital title in history across both North America and Europe. So that means literally millions of people are playing as you pretty much right now, which is awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. I love it.
Fastest selling digital title in history. That kind of leads us to streaming, because this is something that you just started to do, I think a couple weeks or maybe a month or two back.
Yeah, a little less than a month ago, I think.
Okay, cool.
Started, yeah.
So how did you get involved with this? Because this is all the rage these days, streaming stuff on Twitch. And
a friend of mine who runs the channel, he was sort of talking to a group of friends of mine and other people that have been on the stream, and all friends. I have a bunch of gamer, nerdy, just awesome friends down here, so they were super interested in it, and he asked me if I had heard of it. I was like, no, not really. And so he played me somebody's stream, and he was like, we should do something like this. And I was like, okay. And this was last year still, and so I think he worked on the channel and got it all set up, blah blah blah. And then, you know, when my game came out, I went to him, I was like, so do you think like I could stream myself playing my game? Because A, I've never played it before and I really want to. And B, I think it would be like a really cool thing because I keep getting fans asking me to cosplay or fans asking me to like do something with Resident Evil. I was like, well, what a great way to sort of like kill two birds with one stone, you know? And then I can also like interact with my fans and I can like, they can help me finish the game and like we can have a lot of fun together. So I like that sort of like intimate relationship sort of a communication that you can have with people.
It's neat that technology actually supports that now too, you know, like being able to play a game and talk to people and record stuff on a camera. Like that's kind of new that the internet can actually handle that stuff.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And I'm lucky that my friend, he just has like a super awesome computer, super high speed internet connection. Like he just like just has all the stuff. So like there's no way I would have been able to do it on my own because I just like don't have the equipment. But so yeah, it's awesome. It worked out really, really well. And
that's cool.
I think I'm like almost done the game. People were telling me I'm like 75% done maybe.
Awesome.
That's
awesome. Have you killed the big snake yet? I always remember the big snake.
I did. I killed him.
I hate that snake. What was his name? Yawn or something like that? I think it was Yawn.
I honestly, and then there's the spiders. Like
oh yeah, spiders are terrible.
So many people got these horrible, well, they're not horrible, they're hysterical screenshots of me like screaming as I'm trying to like bazooka this stupid spider and stuff comes out. It was, oh my god, it was so gross.
It's so like bizarrely meta, especially if you had the hat on, like you screaming, playing as yourself, shooting. It's like way too much. It's like the internet just consuming itself. Like
it's pretty much it's like Kim Kardashian breaking the internet. Now I'm gonna literally like break the internet from within. Like,
that's awesome. So if you did have the tech at home, you think you'd stream more regularly and stuff? Like, are you actually enjoying it a lot?
Yeah, you know what? I actually would. I was thinking of sort of just getting myself started with like something because I've been having a lot of fun and I've been playing H1Z1 and sort of like
I was thinking of picking it. I just finally got a new computer like 2 days ago, so I've been thinking of actually playing that. Is it cool?
It's fun. I like running into people and like talking to them, and then you know you like make bow and arrows, and then there's like zombies, and I'm like, I just like naturally am a really good shot, so I'm like killing all these deer and stuff, and like people are eating it, and I don't know, it was fun.
That's cool. I need to check it out. It looks
it's highly entertaining. I like it a lot.
I'm kind of. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say on sort of a related note, during your Resident Evil playthrough, what is it like to see essentially your face, like dialogue coming out of your face that you know, because you didn't record the dialogue, right?
Yeah, that's not my voice.
Yeah, so there's a a different voice, and then there's really interesting dialogue in Resident Evil, is what I'm trying to say. Like Chris, don't die. And, you, the master of unlocking, it's very sort of like, here's the exposition to the game. And it's lay it out right in front of you.
I love it. It's so classic.
I love it too. I mean, it's part of the charm of the game, but is that weird to see yourself like, oh, that's my face, but those aren't my words. It's like,
it's really weird. I don't know. I think the voice of it kind of sounds a little corny. I don't know. But I was just sort of like, every time she says something, I'm like, ooh, because in my head it should sound like me,
right?
When I'm running around, her thoughts are totally my thoughts, and it looks like me. It's totally me, and then this like other person's voice comes out. I'm like, oh god, that's not right.
Yeah, that dialogue is very quirky. It's enduring though. I mean, it's endearing, I should say, and enduring, but it needs to stay exactly the way
it endears. Yeah,
exactly.
It endures well, it endures, or whatever.
Exactly.
Pretty classic.
The dialogue is kind of funny. It's like it was written in Japanese and then someone just translated it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what happened, and it was translated not so well.
Yeah, that's the best. That is the best.
Really bad. It's actually a good transition because, you seemed like you really still like the character a lot. If Capcom were to kind of crawl out from Capcom land and say, hey, like we want to make a new Resident Evil and we want to use your likeness again, would you perhaps be game for that?
Yes.
Yes. I know that's like a loaded question, but I had to ask it. So.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's funny. People ask me that all the time. I was like, I mean, absolutely. It's been so much fun. First time, I would be super lucky to be able to do it again, and and it's and I would love to do more of like the mocap stuff. Like actually being her for real instead of just like the scan. Like I would love to go deeper and like be more involved with her actual like movements and stuff. Like that would be
should let you voice them too. It'd be awesome. Like the whole deal. Sort of like what Troy Baker does now.
Barry, run!
Poor Barry.
Poor Barry. Oh my god, it was so funny because you know how you're supposed to like save Richard?
Yeah.
And then like it took me like 5 tries to actually save him because I kept going into the wrong door and then I kept getting lost and you have to run really fast and oh my god, it was like so. Anyways, like there was a whole like hashtag on Twitter like save Richard and then and then I ended up killing Richard and then it was like oh rest in peace Richard.
Oh, Richard.
I just had a brilliant idea for your playthrough. You should just play the game with no volume, but with the subtitles on, and anytime you're speaking, you just read the dialogue to your Twitch stream.
It was a really good idea.
It would be super cool. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Just act out all the scenes.
And then you could bring your friends on just to read the other parts, just randomly come in and kind of do the totally. Barry's part. Yeah.
That's why Scott's the producer. He has the ideas.
Yeah.
You do have the ideas. I'll run that by the producer of our stream and
exactly. Yeah. It could be a live read through of
that would be awesome. I would be so on board for that.
That'd be really fun. Everything.
Yes. So I think it was maybe last summer, my dates might be screwed up, but you were out, I think in the boonies filming a movie called Painkillers. Mm-hmm. And the guys making that movie were super enthusiastic and like tweeted at us a bunch and got us excited about the movie. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Like what, because I don't really know much about it at all. So this is
I can tell you a little bit about it. It hasn't been a release yet or anything, so I don't want to give out too many
no spoilers. So.
Yeah, but so basically it's about a troop of mercenary soldiers that get sent to Afghanistan in order to bring something back. And we're not given that much information. You don't really, going into it, that's kind of all you know.
Okay.
At some point in the movie, all of their memories get wiped. They can't remember anything. They don't remember what happened yesterday, and they don't remember what happened 10 years ago. It's like they're just sort of just not zombies, but they're just like
men in black stared at the funny light, and now they don't remember anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. and so basically from there they start discovering why they're there, who put them there, and it's a really twisty, turny story. It's like sci-fi action, so there's like it's a really awesome twist at the end, and I really loved it because we did all of our own stunts.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh, great!
Yeah, and Steve McMillan, who was one of the stunt coordinators in the Hobbit films.
Oh, wow!
He came down and worked with us and sort of got us to a place where we were doing super awesome stunts that were like within our capabilities and looked natural and felt natural and were safe for us to do. And it was really, really great. There's a couple. I've seen a couple of my like fight scenes, and they turned out really good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good, and it's a great story. My character plays like a super smart, she's sort of like a child prodigy almost, and she sort of is the brains behind the operation and is the one who's truly sort of like starts to figure out what's going on with them.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm stoked to see it. Did you you talked a little bit about the fight choreography and stuff. You've had like a bit of training. I think last time you were on, you were talking about Project Sarah, and we talked about like all, how hard you trained for that. And then I remember talking to you about Bitch Slap too. I think like you did a print interview with us like our first year. So first of all, thank you for that.
Oh yeah, that was
like
fun.
Super like nice of you our first year as like the total newbies on the block to give us any time. So
that was fun.
Thank you. But did you had to train more for this even after Bitch Slap and Project Sarah? That's awesome.
Yeah. We basically started. I mean, and it's not very much time, but we started a month before production, which usually when you're on a big budget movie, it's like 6 months. But they have the budget for that, which is very normal in indie films. But I like that kind of schedule because there's no slacking. It's like you do what you got to do, and you make it work, and you work really hard. And so we had a month beforehand where we were training and making sure like our bodies are strong enough and like working out really hard and learning the choreography and so and then once we got up to Calgary, we shot it up in Canada. And
I was just going to ask you that, where you shot to like represent Afghanistan, because I'm like, there's no way they went to Afghanistan.
There's no way we did. It was actually really amazing. There's a place in Alberta just outside of Calgary called Drumheller, and it's basically one of the largest collection of dinosaur bones in North America.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, you can just be walking around and like, oh, there's a bone sticking out of the ground. Like it's insane. And there's like it's actually a really beautiful place. So if you're ever up there, you can go. But so basically we went down to the valley, and when you look up, it looks like it's mountains, and then they just digitally put in bigger mountains in the background. So it doubled as Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Just movie magic. And so we got to go up there, and we filmed for about a month, and awesome experience. Peter Winther, who wrote and directed it, was one of the producers on like Independence Day and The Patriot, and so he's had great success with movies like that, and so it was one of his first directing gigs, and he was so awesome to work with, and really sort of like believed in us and like let us sort of do our thing on set, and
that's great. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So do you guys have any sort of date as to when people can maybe see it? I know it's like it says it in post now, so maybe sometime this year.
Yeah, sometime this year for sure. And sometimes it always happens with movies, things get pushed back, post-production takes longer, all that kind of stuff. But from what I hear, it's very, very close to being done, which is awesome.
Really cool.
And then I'm pretty sure, it's like, it'll probably just be like VOD and Netflix sort of release.
Yeah.
Which would be wonderful.
Nothing wrong with that. It's like, I kind of prefer consuming my media that way these days anyway,
It's true, unless it's like a big budget movie and the box office, it's like guaranteed to get a certain amount back financially for a movie. It just doesn't really make sense anymore to do the theatrical release, make that your goal. Like you make way more money back and you reach so much more people from their homes. So
I think it's much more respectable now to have a movie go like straight to VOD. It's not seen as like anything negative anymore. Just from a consumer's perspective, I'm like, oh, it's like I would love to sit and watch that at home. And I think there's a lot of people that watch a lot of movies and just don't like to go to the theater anymore. So
there's big budget, not big budget. There's like big stars movies that go straight to VOD. So it's not like doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Doesn't mean it's it just means that that's the journey of that movie. And honestly, like I said, I actually prefer that too, because then, all my friends can see it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have a bunch of stupid lightning round questions, and answer these as truthfully as possible, and we'll see what happens. All right. Are you prepared?
Edit out some of these answers. I don't know what's going to...
No, they're not. They're not bad. They're not bad.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
We want you to come back sometime.
Yeah, we want you to come back at least in another 2 years.
Did she hang up on us? Where did she go?
Why'd you ask her that horrible question? No, I wouldn't do that. These are like relatively G-rated. I mean, you could answer them any way you want, but
all right.
That's G-rated. Okay. So the first one is, what is the first movie you remember seeing in the movie theater?
In the movie theater?
In the movie theater, yeah. It's a hard question.
It is a hard question. Well, like I remember seeing like The Lion King.
Okay.
But I don't know, when did that come out? I mean, I wasn't super young when that came out, though.
I don't even remember when Lion King came out. I want to say
it's like
90? 1994.
Yeah. 94.
94? Oh, good. Okay, so I was like 9 years old. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a very good answer, though.
No, it's an honest answer. But mine, I've said this on the show before, mine was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Mine was Harry and the Hendersons.
That is a great first film.
Yeah, right?
It's a really sad first film, too.
That's funny. Actually, no, the thing that I remember most about seeing The Lion King was that, like, when you're 9 years old, the whole intro, and it's like, it holds up Simba, and it goes, boom, Lion King, and it's like, it's a really powerful, but when you're like 9, you're just like, there's just a bunch of animals. I looked over at my mom and she's like crying. And I was like, Mom, why are you crying? Of course she got mad at me because I was like kind of making fun of her in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And then like years later when I like kind of grew up a little bit, I watched it at home and then I started crying and I started laughing hysterically because I was like, that's what my mom was crying at.
Yeah, you understand a lot more as you get older. Absolutely. Like all those Disney cartoons they're like soul crushing when you watch them as an adult. You're like, why did I ever watch this?
I know. And like, I refuse to watch Dumbo to this day because it just makes me sob. Like I'll just like, I won't be able to deal for the rest of the day if I watch Dumbo.
There's a whole lot of death and carnage in those early Disney films. They just they kill everyone.
Dark.
Absolutely. All right. So the next one's about TV. And it's what are your favorite television shows, and do you even watch TV?
I do like The Walking Dead. I like it. It's like a guilty pleasure, so I'm happy that it's back. And I watched the mid-season premiere last night.
Depressing, isn't it? I just watched it too. Super depressing. No spoilers for our listeners, but pretty messed up.
I know. Everyone's dying, and all your favorite characters die, and but I think it's actually getting better. Like the mid-season premiere was shot really well. I actually visually, I thought it looked really good.
Yeah,
better than some of the other episodes. I don't know who directed it or what different happened, but I enjoyed it a lot more. So
I have the answer to that if you want me to get nerdy for a second. But the guy that directed it was Greg Nicotero, who does the effects too. But he's kind of moved into the director's seat lately, and he's pretty awesome. So yeah,
he's awesome. I definitely enjoyed it. As soon as it came out, I was like, "Whoa, what's this? This looks cool!" Like, just The Walking. I mean, their special effects, they need to get a little better. It's like some headshots, and you're like, "That's super fake."
Yeah,
but they have such an amazing show. It's popular. It's a subject matter that everyone's just so interested in.
Yeah,
he just make that show fucking amazing.
Yeah,
but
I agree. It's a pretty good show.
Way.
Do you binge watch stuff when you sit on Netflix? Do you have time to actually binge watch stuff?
That's kind of the only way I watch things. Because in my job, either I have no time or I have lots of time. It's rarely in between that I'm like, oh, I'm normal amount of time on my hands. So I'm either working or I'm not. So when I'm watching, I usually binge watch just all day long. Ordering food.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
When 7 o'clock rolls around, open a bottle of wine, you're still watching. Yeah, it's pretty much my jam.
This one's my favorite question. All right. You are stranded on a desert island, and a small box washes up on shore. What is inside that box?
Rum and sunscreen.
That's excellent.
That's one of my favorite answers. Most people try and get an inflatable raft and essentially try and create some way to escape, and you're just like, fuck it.
Dude, I'm on a desert island. I like vacations. I like being in tropical places. I'll be a little drunk and I'll have a good time by myself, and then I won't get a sunburn. And maybe if it's maybe someone will find me. If not, I'll die a happy lady.
You've definitely won the award for fastest answer to the question.
Yeah,
which is very impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing. Excellent. All right, so the next one involves food.
Oh yeah, good.
I know. And this one is about pizza. It says, the perfect pizza is topped with blank.
Just so much cheese.
Just so much cheese.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just a variety of cheese, or just straight up cheese pizza?
Yeah, a variety of lots of cheeses.
Okay.
All cheeses, yeah.
It's a good answer.
That sounds wonderful.
Super cheesy pizza.
Super cheesy, yeah.
Awesome. This one's deep. This is a deep question.
Okay.
Would you get along with a 15-year-old version of yourself?
Oh, yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I think I would.
Oh, I would hate me so much.
Yeah.
I would. You know what I recently found? I went to North Carolina. My parents have a cabin up there, and they have a trunk, and inside the trunk is a box of old VHS cassettes from when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
And I plopped one in the summer, and I was such a little asshole. I don't remember being such an asshole, but I would have literally beaten myself.
Punched yourself right in the face, yeah.
I was such a fun. I know. I was so mean to my parents. My parents were trying to be so cool, and I was like, 15 is it's a hard age, but
it's a hard age. I mean, honestly, I booked Resident Evil when I was 15.
That's crazy.
I was in Japan modeling and trying to be this professional model and stuff like that. So I probably would annoy myself a little bit. You just need to smarten up a little bit, but I think that I would totally get along with myself. I was sweet. I think I was sweet.
Well, you grew up in a rural place in Canada, right? So you had a pretty pretty stable, calmish youth, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. Good family, 2 brothers and a sister. I grew up on a farm. It was just sort of super normal childhood. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you've survived the lightning round questions, and
well, I did it.
Those were great answers. You were just you're I'm doing it. So where can people find you on social media? Because we want people to follow you.
Okay, it's really complicated. My Twitter name is Julia Voth. My Instagram name is Julia Voth. My Facebook name is Julia Voth. So it's really complicated. I have so it's like it's all pretty simple. And then my profile on Facebook has the little check mark, the page that I use, so it's all like verified and whatever.
Okay.
And my Twitter is verified too, so easy to find. And I'm on there, every day a little bit, posting things. But I love interacting with people. I love hearing about my fans' day and what they're up to. So if you're on Twitter and you would like to chit chat and that I'd love to hear from you.
Yes, everyone follow @Julia Voth everywhere, please.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and good luck with your award in a couple of weeks. And hopefully next time you come back, it won't be 2 years because we'll be old and tired by then. It'll be like episode 500. It'll be like, do you remember back in the 2010s?
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much. That was awesome. So much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, that was Julia Voth hanging out. She was a blast. I expressed several times in the interview that I'd like to have her on more often, but she is a blast to talk to, and you guys should tune in and see her play as Jill Valentine. That's Twitch TV /Sharp3D, and she'll be doing that on Friday night and then on Sunday. And of course, like she said, follow her on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. That's just Julia Voth everywhere. So she's cool. She's a pal of ours. And the thing that is really neat is she has been supportive of us since year one. And for those of you who are podcasters or who listen to a lot of podcasts, the first year is really fucking hard because nobody wants to talk to you. And I vividly remember reaching out just kind of out of the blue and being like, hey, we have this show. We were really, really early. I think we were on, I don't know, maybe episode 20 or something by then. And she did a print interview with us and, has been our Twitter pal ever since. And that was, 4 years ago. So
yeah, the year one crew at Nerd Appropriate is a very exclusive crew from what I remember.
Oh yeah. And year one crew, mad respect to them. We'll support them till the end of the end of the earth because they supported us. So big thanks to Julia Voth for that. If you want to follow us, and hopefully you do, that's @NerdAppropriate on Twitter, and you can go to Facebook /NerdAppropriate, and you can email us directly, and that is Matt, Scott, and Ash at nerdappropriate.com. And of course, our show is on iTunes, and you can rate us and give us stars.
Yeah.
You give stars there, right?
We haven't said that in a while.
We haven't said that in 100 episodes.
Yeah. Go give us a favorable review on iTunes.
I've been listening to Rachel and Miles, and they say that at the end of every episode, and I'm like, I need to say that too.
Yeah.
Well, you just did. Yeah, we just asked people to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening to episode 190, and we'll be back next week with more stuff.
Full episode next week.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Remember back in the 2010s.
Exactly.
I don't know why I just did that voice. This is me totally exhausted, by the way. So
that's your old man. Actually, I really want to have an interview with you when you start talking like that. That'll be fun.
All right.
Oh, good.
I'll be direct messaging you at 85. Do you want to come back on the show?
Yeah.